Today I'm going to show you how to replace the brake pads in a set of Avid Elixirs. This particular set are Elixir 3s, but this will apply to all versions of the Elixir except for the Elixir 4s. Fibrax offers sintered and organic pads. Sintered are fully metallic and therefore the hardest, longest lasting pad, so I'm going to be fitting these to my bike today. I usually ride at Cannock Chase, where conditions are very sandy, so sintered are the perfect choice for me, especially in the winter. I tend to use organic pads in the summer if and when everything is dry and dusty. The only tool you will need for this is a 2.5mm Allen key, as well as the disc rotor wipes applied with the Fibrax pads. The first step is to remove the C-clip. These are quite fragile but should come off quite easily with a little bit of persuasion. Make sure to put it in a safe place as you will need this again. Take your 2.5mm Allen key. If yours has a rounded end, be sure not to use this as it can round off the bolt. It will not unscrew all the way out, so once the thread has reached its end, just pull the bolt out. Now we need to remove the old pad and clip. Simply pull them straight up. The next step is to check and prepare the disc before inserting the new pads. Inspect the rotor for any signs of damage or warping, as this sort of problem could wear down the new pads quicker than normal. Once happy with the disc, take the disc rotor wipe from the packet. The easiest way to do this is to fold the wipe in half, then wipe both sides of the disc at the same time while spinning the wheel. Disc rotors can be very sharp, so please be careful whilst doing this. At this time it is a good idea to check the pistons are fully back. We recommend using something non-metallic and flat, such as a tyre lever, to ease the pistons back into the caliper housing. If a screwdriver is used, for example, you run the risk of breaking the pistons. You may be able to do this next step by just removing the wheel. It will depend on which option gives you the best leverage. Remove the caliper from the bike while undoing the two bolts completely. Brakes will be mounted differently on different bikes, however the process will be similar. Pistons in the Elixirs are the round-rotated circles in the caliper. Insert your tyre lever and push firmly against each piston in turn until they sit flush with the rest of the caliper. It is now time to reattach the caliper to the bike. Grease up the bolts and then do them up. Now it is time to assemble the new Fibrax pads and spring clip. Sit the spring around the braking surface so that both pads face each other. Once the pads look like this, it is time to fit them back into the caliper. Simply slot them straight in, like this. Some force may be required with a new spring. However, if they do not go in easily, it's probably to do with the pistons not being fully retracted. Go back and try the piston steps again. When you put the bolt back in, lightly grease the threads to make the bolt easier to take out next time. And only nip the bolt up rather than do it tightly. Otherwise these bolts can get stuck. Finally, replace the C-clip. This will just click on and will stop the bolt falling out. If the disc rolls while spinning the wheel, it will either be the piston still being too far out, or it may well be the caliper needs centering over the disc. Please see the video description for instructions on how to do this. The steps I have just shown you are exactly the same for both front and rear brakes. Just follow them again for your front brake when you need to replace the pads. Please feel free to get in contact with us should you have any questions regarding this video, how to fit pads in different brake models, or any other questions you might have.